the source makes a bigger difference than, anything really these days.
Well, and it's harder than ever to do anything about it.
We want to talk about crazy audiophiles, which I think some of us actually are in that group. So don't take it any way if we call you crazy, because we're all crazy in some way. But the point is that it's crazy to see how far some people take their systems, and what we'd like to do is get everyone involved in this one, and we're looking for people to comment on how far would they like to take their system. It's not that they did or can or will. It's that how far would you like to take it? Because we've seen people that are more than happy with a sound bar for their TV, and you got people that have a dozen speakers in a room with 4 subs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's such stark contrast. You're talking just setting up the dozen speakers sounds like a challenge. So, where
do you draw that line?
Yeah, well, at what point did you say, okay, I got enough audio toys in my life right now, and it'd be cool to see what everyone thinks about where they'd want to be, I mean, just anything, whatever, in terms of the speakers you'd buy, or maybe you want that make-believe amplifier that we talked about in one of our old videos, where we used a whole building to make an amplifier.
Not very
was
practical.
it 2 buildings, monoblocks
on the moon?
There's 2 buildings
on the moon.
Yeah.
Not practical.
Yeah, was it a nuclear powered
I believe so. It's very expensive.
Yeah. So, it'd be cool to see what everyone would like to do. And it goes for not just speakers, but of course for headphones, for anything. Like, what would you want? Yeah, if Santa were to give you something, all right, Mob Crusher aside, what would you want?
Well, I guess it depends on why you as an audiophile got into audio and what your limitation is. Because there's a lot of people that, of course, are strongly limited by their wallet. That tends to be the most reasonable, practical limitation. And beyond that, you have other issues, size, space, whatever. And I think where we want to take this is, if these things weren't an issue, if your sole constraint was your wishes, your desires, your demands, and whatnot, how far would you go if you were allowed? And I think a lot of people still would use the stock speakers on their TV. That they'll consider themselves an audiophile in other regards, but they'll still use the stock speakers. They'll still use a stock audio system in their car.
I think because it's easier.
Yeah, it depends on why you got into.
It's like good enough. If you're not like a videophile, like crazy into movies.
Right.
If you're into movies, there's no way you'd get away with the freaking speaker.
No.
You would know that.
Yeah. But in my room where that TV, I just got a sound bar. So.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, in the bedroom.
Bedroom. Yeah.
Yeah, but the big screen's got speakers all around the room. Sub. Yeah.
Well, I don't like sound bars because of the aesthetic, the issues with connecting and stuff like that, making sure that you have one remote that's simple and easy to use and all that sort of deal.
Oh, well, I do have one remote because actually it's not I run HomePods, full-size HomePods.
Oh, you have that?
And so they're connected to my Apple TV. So I just use the Apple TV remote.
I see. So I would have to do something like that because I hate the option of having to have multiple remotes,
I used to have a bunch of remotes. Now it's just one.
Yeah. Or you have to power on multiple devices. I guess most of them you could stage them so that it does this automatically, but still.
Well, it's nice because on the current Apple TV, they actually finally added a power button. Before it didn't have it.
Yes.
So now you can turn everything off and turn everything on.
Right.
With one remote.
Or there's this company called Harmony.
I hate those remotes.
Yeah. I have
way too complicated. They're gigantic and heavy.
No, I got a little one in my living room. I got a little.
I think the Apple TV remote is a perfect remote.
Yeah.
It turns my TV on and off, and I use the speakers.
It does work pretty good though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, it has that setup for the audio. Where it plays audio and your iPhone picks it up.
Yeah, but we're kind of off topic here. We're supposed to be talking about how far would you take it?
Well, that's how far I would take it.
That is
with
it.
my speakers and my TV.
That's it?
I don't like the idea of having like complicated things, but it's different. So you look at like headphones or whatever, and I guess I tend to look for simplistic systems there as well. However, I guess the reward you get out of a high-end system for me is more significant in headphones than it is in like a TV. I really don't care about the audio that much in a TV. If it's sufficient, that's fine.
Well, it's usually dialogue, so
Right. For what I'm doing on a TV, it fits the purposes.
Oh, music though.
Well, yeah, you ever
Wanna
play
watch-
music on a TV?
Yeah.
Not great.
It sounds awful,
Yeah.
but it doesn't matter for
On TV
like watching
speakers.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a little
yeah.
TV
Agreed.
show thing.
Yeah. No, but yeah, definitely. Well, that's where it comes. That's where like things like optical cables come in. You know, on the modern TVs, fortunately we have HDMI, which of course if you have a receiver, then you're good to go.
Yeah.
That'll give you analog one way or another in all kinds of formats: 2-channel, 5-channel, 7.1. You know, or you just come optical out of the TV and go into a DAC, and you can go to your headphones with it. You go to your whatever your DAC's connected to. So it is it's easy to get audio off a TV once it's on it, and not use the TV speaker. But in terms of music, yeah, I mean, you know, really, you think about it, the 2-channel systems are the sky's the limit.
Well, yeah.
You could spend millions of dollars between a room
Yeah, the room is
and
the
a
big
system.
thing.
If you really, I mean, if you had unlimited funds, wow. Where headphones ain't quite reached that level.
Yeah. No, well, you don't need the room, so you need to build a custom bunker for
Yeah.
just listening to music.
Underground
so.
bunker.
Yeah, yeah.
One of those missile silos that they were selling. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
I think that
A
has some
round
benefits.
room. Oh, that'd be perfect. No dimension.
I think the biggest limitation for most people with speakers tends to be the room. That usually is the thing you come across first, because you could build a 2-channel system cheap, and well, it's not going to be amazing, but you could get a decent experience for $1,000 or less, and obviously you could tweak your way up from there. But if you don't have the space, then it's a problem, and usually you run into a lot of compromises when you're trying to deal with like a small bedroom or something like that. It doesn't really work that well. It doesn't really matter what speakers and setup you have. It tends to be very impractical to do a good job in a very small room, and at least for me, it's just kind of not appealing. If you just don't have the space, it just doesn't seem to be. You don't get as much of the experience. You don't get like the full grand experience you could kind of get out of a 2-channel system when you have a limited space.
Yeah, you're lucky you got a big living room, so you were able to put a full-size projector in there.
That's right.
With speakers. I've got a dedicated room for listening, so I can throw speakers at one end. I got a big screen at the other end. You know.
Well, that was the plan when I got my house. Finding a house that had a wall big enough, knowing that in years eventually I would get a projector.
Yeah.
So that was one of the.
Yeah, that worked
That
out.
was difficult to find, actually.
A wall without windows that
Right,
big?
right.
Yeah. You're talking. You need about at least a 15-foot wall without windows. That's one wall.
Well, it's
at
bigger
least.
than that.
Yeah,
but
it's bigger than that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Minimum, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, yeah. Let us know, everyone. Let us know. What you think. Like where would you take your system if you could take it anywhere you want? Leave it in the comments, and we'll look forward to it. And we look forward to, if we got enough comments, we could even talk about the comments. Wow. We could show some of the speaker systems that people want.
Oh, yeah.
Show the photos of the speakers, yeah, or the amplifiers or whatever you're into. You know, like me, I like mono amps. So the biggest mono block, runs on 240, needs special outlets. To me, that would be cool. Like the Monster Pass Lab monos or the
Yeah.
talking 300-400 pound amplifiers. That's cool.
I think that's part of my issue, though, because I've seen many audiophiles in the wild before. They're elusive creatures, but occasionally you could come across a few.
Yeah.
And tends to be you go to audio shows, and they have rooms that are set up kind of sort of intentionally for the wow factor. And
That's a show.
of course, you can indeed get a very substantial wow out of some of these rooms at times. And I think you almost really need a pretty massive room to really do it right, to really get to where you want to be.
No doubt.
You need a room that's at least 1,000 square feet.
Well, we've seen some of these guys that actually, a lot of times nowadays, the last so many years with shows, the bigger amps are just on passive display.
Yeah.
They don't even try to power them
Well,
up.
they can't.
It's
kind of
but
impractical.
we've seen, I'm on a couple shows, if you go back years, and obviously they did this once and decided it ain't worth it.
Right.
Where they actually, the hotel, they'd hire electricians to run lines, and they would tape them along the wall, to run a dedicated 240 line to the room.
Yeah, what does that cost?
So they could power the amps in the room, because obviously there's nothing to plug into in a hotel room that runs 240 at 30 amps or something like that times 2.
Yeah.
Hell, one show I think they have a generator sitting in Rocky Mountain, and it's one of the shows they had a generator on the ground, and they ran lines up the side of the hotel to bring into the windows, because they had shitty power in the hotel to begin with. They knew that what was going, it was like the 20th, I think it was San Francisco, an old show.
Oh.
You guys probably weren't
Yeah,
there.
I don't know.
They actually had, no shit, one of those big,
like semi-trucks.
running a generator, and running lines up the side of the hotel and into individual rooms. Or I don't know if there's the rooms where they're going to sub panels, but whatever they did, that was because the hotel was an old hotel.
Well, even new hotels.
And
they're
like
not
it
made
probably
for
couldn't
that.
even do 5 amps in a room, you know?
I mean, they're not.
Right.
No hotel's made for that though.
Yeah.
You're not plugging in, whatever.
But I always wondered, like, even when I go to a hotel and plug an iron in, is it going to blow the fuse? And then if it does, how do I fix it? I
Well,
can't. I don't even know where the breaker
I mean,
panel
it's
is.
never happened, right? But
Apparently not. No.
I'm imagining they have.
Well,
that
I've had some outlets spark a little bit here and
Yeah,
there. They
yeah.
got some shitty outlets in these hotels. They're all
Sometimes.
worn to hell. Well, now they give you lamps to plug into, which is ridiculous. It's like that's a really bad idea.
some of them, are
plug in
kind
a
of sketchy.
15 amp. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't even get that. But anyway, we're gone on topic.
Oh,
But
yeah.
but see, that's part of the dream is having unlimited power.
Right.
That could be part of your dream, So.
Well, it's pretty easy to achieve if you actually have a purpose-built room. I think the sheer size and space tends to be the limitation, and then you start looking at the prices for some of this gear. Yeah, and in 2-channel, I think that for most probably is something they aspire to have, but it's just so far out of practical range that it's not really something they really actively consider.
It's cool to
Because
dream.
it's like it's $1 million. If you want a room that's like whoa, it's very very very
Oh, yeah.
expensive.
You could drop $500,000 in a room.
Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the ultimate like good enough for audio thing is like modern vehicles, because back in the day you would literally like have to
Yeah, they
change
were
everything
garbage.
because
Yeah,
everything
right.
it was so bad.
Yeah, the stock
But
stereo
now,
in a car.
a stock one's better than you could have done like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
The hardest you tried with 4 speakers.
Yeah,
and
hence there ain't many stores or shops around
Yeah,
that are
right.
doing it anymore because
Yeah.
the stock stuff's good.
the source makes a bigger difference than anything really these days.
Well, and it's harder than ever to do anything about it. It used to
yeah.
be so easy because the radios were standard sizes and they weren't good.
Yeah.
So you were glad to rip it out. But now everything's heavily integrated. You have a lot more screens and things like that. And a lot of times a radio does more than just the radio. So you can't really even rip it out. And the speakers are potentially hard to get to and weird sizes. And they have weird DSP and things like that that would interfere with active noise cancellation or reduction in the cabin and things like that. So it becomes impractical in modern vehicles.
I mean, it's still doable, but a lot of
Yes.
effort.
But they're also vastly superior to where they were. So yeah,
But then-
in a car,
But then you look at what these like the what do you call it, the contests, whatever, these people building audio systems in their
right,
vehicles.
just for SPL.
Yeah,
That's nuts. That's just as nuts.
Yeah, but you
look
got to
at it.
like completely rebuild a vehicle.
Oh yeah,
like
I
the
mean
door
they're
panels and
making
everything.
panels.
Yeah,
They're
right.
cutting wood. They're covering it with whatever.
Yeah.
It's like it's nuts.
For SPL or
They're putting,
SQ.
well,
both,
you name
really.
it. They're putting like
Yeah.
multiple batteries somewhere.
Right.
There's just to
Right.
run the thing, and it's nuts.
Yeah, racks of amps in the trunk and stuff.
You remember what was that scrape by the lake they used to have over here when you guys were way
Canada,
younger?
yeah.
And they had those the hydraulics in the car.
Yeah.
That was nuts. They would just smoke the hydraulics
Oh,
just
yeah.
to do a show
Yeah,
for 30
everyone,
seconds.
Like every time,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, smoke just comes out of the truck.
Yeah.
They're like 12 or 24 volt pumps and they run them at like 96 or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
48, so, yeah.
Because it works
Yeah.
for 10 seconds.
Yeah, right.
Maybe.
It's like, got to replace that pump. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just
But
nuts.
I mean, when you think about how much power it takes to actually lift,
To lift the
a
car
60,
quickly.
and
Not
it's
even
like
lift it, like violently
Yeah.
throw the vehicle.
Well, and
right.
like a land yacht 60s Impala too.
Right.
Yeah.
4,000-pound vehicle get thrown up in the air.
That's to me. That's just as
Yeah, just I still
out there.
remember the feeling of like a Impala hitting the ground from like 6 feet. You could feel it in the ground.
That's
and it's
a
like,
lot.
oh my!
Yeah,
that's
these
gotta
weren't
be
small
bad
cars.
on
That's
everything.
true. Yeah, you got some iron in the engine there that's just being tossed around like a
Right.
toy.
And they broke.
Yeah, almost every one of them smoked. Yeah, which is like I'm sitting there going, "Jeez, the amount of money." I mean, you guys, every time you're done, you got to rebuild it. It's like that bot program, those robots
Yeah.
that
Oh,
fight
yeah.
each other.
BattleBots.
Yeah, I guess those guys carry like 3 spares because they know they're just going to get trashed.
Well,
every
they're just
Right.
fighting to the death. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Anyway, we're out back.
A little off
yeah,
topic.
yeah. But anyway, let us know, people. Let us know what is your dream system. What would you do if you wanted to?
It
Thanks.
varies wildly.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we'd like to hear.
yeah. Thank you. Thumbs us up. Take care.